I am actually autistic.
You guys might want to sit down into your gaming chairs and strap in for this one.
I am actually autistic.
This is the TikToker that played victim, pretending to have DID.
Look, guys, I was picking something up and I felt a pop in her finger and it hurt and I popped a blood vessel. And now,
while giving no helpful information about the disorder and while also being self-diagnosed. Later on, she would actually come back to that, saying being self-diagnosed isn't valid.
Do not call me hun.
She bullied people offline that actually had the disorder.
You have caused more harm to our community than most of the fakers ever will.
Begged for money and eventually just showed her real colors.
And use them to help fake claim everyone else. You.
And we'll get straight into her TikTok as we continue our journey on trying to take down all these people online who like to either play up for the camera with their disorder or just straight up fake for sympathy and money. But first, equally just as important, the comment shout out, and that goes to Miles the Dark Knight. Thank you for your comment. If you guys want to shout out in the next video, make sure to leave a comment down below saying, Blaze, I backflipped on the subscribe button, and I'll pick one of you for a shout out in the next video. So who is it exactly that we're talking about? Well, she's actually gone by a few names at this point, as her TikTok name used to be Juniper and the Gang, but has now actually changed her TikTok to a friendly amalgam. Also, it's to be noted that her TikTok is private. I actually spoke to a few people that know the situation behind all of this, and apparently it's to do with the fact that people have been reporting her videos. Honestly, it's not that hard to see why. We have actually reacted to this person in the past before. I mean, how could we not when she uploads absolute bangers like this?
it's Max. I got my hat.
Whoa.
Don't let that fool you. She does actually have her hat. That is probably gonna be the only truthful thing that this TikToker is gonna say throughout the rest of the video. A bit of a backstory though. Yes, she is self-diagnosed and that she claims that she has DID and a young alter called Bug.
Hello, I'm Ace Bug, and I don't have I'll show you my charms very quickly. These are charms we've had for a few days now.
Honest to God, why are half of them called Bug? This is the second one now. This is getting ridiculous. For those of you that are a little confused, like I was honestly before I started making these videos, as I know DID isn't exactly the world's most known disorder. In fact, it's extremely complex, and I actually think that's why a lot of these TikTokers like to use it, because not a lot is really known about it. Even now, I'm sure they're making new discoveries on how it actually happens and on how it actually works. But a quick Google search can at least fill you in on some of the details, as this is what it says online about the disorder, stating overview. What is dissociated identity disorder, otherwise known as DID? Dissociated identity disorder, DID, is a mental health condition. If you are living with DID, it means that you have two or more separated identities. These personalities control your behavior at different times. Each identity has its own personal history, traits, likes and dislikes. DID can lead to gaps in memory and hallucinations, believing something is real when it isn't. Dissociated identity disorder used to be called multiple personality disorder, split personality disorder, and then stating what it's actually like to live with the disorder. There are ways to make living with DID easier. A strong support system can make living with DID more manageable. Make sure you have healthcare providers, family members, and friends who know about and understand your condition. Communicate openly and honestly with the people in your support system, and don't be afraid to ask for help. One of the things that I would like to add in though is, I know for a fact none of these therapists are telling people like this to go and create a TikTok to go and show what people online what it's really like this TikToker does when she pretends to be a 4-year-old, aka her little alter, Bug.
Okay, so we finished Unicorn Act. It was very fun. We might play a little more.
Yes, thank you, Bug. I'll take it from here, thank you. But there's a few things to be said in her videos. Now, again, I've spoken to someone that actually has DID. I actually sat down one evening to have a talk with Eva, in which I really appreciated that because it felt like I got then a good insight of this disorder, DID, and with that gave me a lot more knowledge about it. There's a few things that I can just see from these videos Juniper uploads. There's a few things. One, in her young alters, it doesn't seem like she actually acts like a child. No, she's actually been seen holding scissors, holding boxes, and also another thing as well is that her voice seems to change
in every other video
with no consistency, while also still managing to record herself.
Is Mrs. Puffs in our system? Cameron?
I don't know about you guys. Granted, I may have been a pretty dumb 4-year-old, but I don't think Albert Einstein 4-year-old could have even figured out TikTok. Not Juniper though. She seems to be a natural at it. Could this be it's because she craves attention? Probably so. Now, I'm not the only one calling her out either, as people in the past have called her out. Again, further along talking with Eva, I found out that this TikToker actually started sending horrible messages to her. So let's have a little recap, shall we? Here we have a TikToker who I can say confidently is faking, in which she told her fan base to go and bully someone with real DID. Nice. And if you guys haven't lost complete faith in humanity yet, let me do you one better. On top of faking all of this, she's decided to take donations, which is honestly quite a big red flag to me. As soon as anyone asks for money, in which she went over onto TikTok, created a money app, and then asked people to donate to it. Her reasoning behind that was she was using it for helping human trafficking. But obviously, with bringing up such a sensitive topic, TikTok took it down. Now, I can't 100% say that she kept that money herself or what her intentions were with this, but going off of what this type of person's like, you guys can make that final say. But good job, TikTok. One of the few times that I feel like I'm gonna say that. I think I've ever said that before. Granted, in extreme cases, it can be a good resource, but you gotta be extremely wary, especially when a content creator like this that isn't as well known, especially someone who's very malicious and is just straight up telling their fan base to go and attack someone else. Now, again, I don't necessarily agree with this content creator, but in no way am I telling you guys to go and harass her. I think as the person with the audience, you have a line of duty to be responsible with that. And I'm assuming she wasn't alting as a 4-year-old at the time.
My therapist perceives me. I don't know if I like it.
In which this TikTok, she claims that she has a therapist, but in no time over the years of her being on TikTok has she ever put diagnosed in her bio. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean too much, but I would like to mention it as I've seen people do this in the past, and after being called out, they seem to just take it out of their bio and mysteriously get better. We've seen this a few times. On top of that as well, she claims that she would like to educate people on TikTok. Maybe she could take some of that advice herself, because there really seems to have been no progress in the past 3 years. And a lot of her TikToks basically consist of her just bullying people online. She seems to be on a very high horse, and every time people seem to call her out, it makes her very angry. I hope she doesn't see this video, as she seamlessly seems to just get off telling her audience to go and attack other people. Who knows? Maybe one of the people watching right now might be from her TikTok account. Hello, make sure to hit the like button. Thank you. Something I would like to mention as well, and I feel like now is a good time, as I'm just addressing the people that may have joined watching this who are watch hating. Do you not find it's kind of weird that she dresses up to play her 4-year-old alter?
Happy day, whether it's Bunny Day or Happy Peeps Day or Happy Easter Day or Happy Astara Day. I hope that you have a good day. Just I hope you find some magic.
I'll be out for her night walk. Sebastian said he would do it, but look at wearing this fancy wig. I wonder how he's gonna feel about it.
No, I'm at East Bag, and I don't have. I'll show you my charms very quickly. These are charms we've had for a few days now.
This. Spin around, stop. Double take 3 times.
Now, just because I've spoken to someone with DID and have made videos on it certainly does not make me an expert. But one thing I will say is dressing up, setting up the camera, and then pretending to be a 4-year-old. That's the one that I just simply can't seem to budge. That makes no sense. When I spoke to Eva and asked her what is it like when you switch, it's nothing like this. Of course, again, it can be different for everyone, but running out of frame to go and get a wig to come back press record when, remember, she's acting as a 4-year-old. How would she remember how to do any of this? As you generally believe that you are 4 years old when you're recording. She seems to remember certain things, but then can't for other stuff, like how to talk properly. All of this doesn't make any sense, and all of this doesn't add up. Again, going back to the hateful messages, here are some of the messages that she left on someone that actually has DID.
Now listen up, if Eva doesn't take those videos down on YouTube, the stink we raise will wake the dead. If you aren't Eva, then there is no need to worry, you are getting blocked again. Don't ever follow us, speak on us, or post our face anywhere, Sebastian. Oh look, another white person ready to toss themselves on the fire of listen, gonna grab some marshmallows at this point. Guess who is back on their system hating? One thing about Eva, she will forever be bitter.
Which is honestly just disgusting. I find that a lot of these people that claim to have these disorders pretend to be in a group, pretend that they help one another, and pretend like they want to just post nothing but the truth out there for you guys to see. But I've made countless videos on these people now. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that. Probably too many, if I'm being perfectly honest. But one thing that always pops up is the second you disagree with them, they all turn on you and get angry, clearly hiding something. It's not a normal reaction to have. You just stated that you want to educate people, so why not educate them? They don't care about that. They have massive egos, love the attention, love the sympathy that people give them online, and the second you question any of that, as it risks all of that going away, they hate it. Or they play the victim card. It's just honestly so disgusting to see that this is always their default. Where is the education in any of this? For example, here's a TikTok. Oh, don't pull me on your boat. I ain't near the same as you. You do make it your identity. That's why this post was made. Which she replied with a TikTok saying this.
If you were just gonna throw fellow disabled people under the bus, I hope the bus backs over you. You don't get to say, oh, don't drag me into this, because you are making this your personality. No, they're establishing boundaries and talking about their life. And FYI, dissociative identity disorder does kind of impact all aspects of our life and personality. So, wow, the internalized ableism is strong with this one. The whole
So they are well within their right to basically call out other people and in such a way say whatever they want. But the second you question them or disagree with something that they have said, they play victim. I don't understand this. And going back to an earlier video of saying don't ever show my face, you guys literally post these videos onto a public platform like TikTok. I know her page is now private, but that hasn't always been the case. How do you think I got these videos? Point being, if you don't want to be criticized, then maybe TikTok or any type of platform isn't really for you. Uploading stuff and hearing other people's opinions about things is one of the generally good things about online. You can't just say whatever you want and then people have to take that at face value, especially when it's something as serious as this. Now, we haven't really sat down and actually watched any of her TikToks. I'd mentioned that she makes TikToks trying to inform people, and I'd also mentioned that they're not very good at being very informative. For example, here is one of those TikToks.
Hello, it's Bug, and I want to talk to you all about something very important, because I see a lot of bigs talking on behalf of the littles about this, and I don't see any littles talking about it. And if littles are supposed to be making very big decisions, then why aren't littles talking about it? You know what I mean?
Not really, no. So straight from the get-go, I just find this so hard to follow along. If you generally think you're 4 years old, how could you even think that? Let alone to set up the camera to then have this very serious conversation. It just doesn't make any sense. But oh, it gets a hell of a lot worse than even that.
Does that make sense? Okay, I'm talking about it now, and maybe the big ones won't delete this. But listen, there's rules for kids. And then when you're in the system, sometimes not all of those rules work the same, right? Like, we have a big adult body, so perhaps, sometimes kids will cuss. or I drive. I know how to drive and pay bills.
Which again is throwing me even more off. When I've spoken to people with actual DID as well, they don't always know that they are in a big body. And if you show them in a mirror, it generally freaks them out. But here it seems like she's managed to keep all of her memories and talks about how to pay bills and that she is fully aware of the fact that she's in a big person's body. None of this stuff makes any sense.
And I know even really big concepts, like consent and power structures.
And like how to scam people online.
And you know what I know? That no matter how much a kid understands, there will always be an uneven amount between the kid and the child. I mean, a kid and an adult. So listen, it's not right. It's just not right to have a kid, whether a body kid or a brain kid, engaging with adults intimately.
Damn, this is my lawyer. I'm going to jail. To which it follows on with some stuff that I honestly just can't actually show on YouTube, otherwise I would get demonetized quicker than you could say bug. But she talks about how when littles do inappropriate stuff with a big, I'm sure you guys can probably fill in the rest there, and saying that it's inappropriate because there's a power dynamic, just like how there would be with an employer and a boss, and that she's sad to even be having this conversation, but that's what she thinks. But throughout the whole video, I just can't help myself but seeing so many inconsistencies. But with that all being said, I do find it a bit strange that someone like this has come onto TikTok and is trying to inform people with wrong information and then straight up decides to bully people when they get called out for it. I don't necessarily think talking about it on a TikTok is a bad thing, but when someone disagrees with what you're saying, to then send your audience on them to not exactly be the best thing in the world. With that all being said, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure to hit the like button, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye bye.